Hey everybody, this is Dave coming to you from the Gaming Cave. Today we're going to continue our playthrough of Flying Colors, Fleet Action in the Age of Sail from GMT Games and designed by Mike Nagel. Okay, so we're picking this up. It's going to be turn number 7 of a 10-turn scenario, so we're getting close to the end. We've had a lot going on, but I went back and looked at my video and I forgot to do one thing. I did the ship fires. I did the striking, but I didn't do my drift of this guy that's demasted, and he would have drifted. And it's a big deal. It puts him closer to this and puts him actually now behind him. So that's where we're at. Okay, first thing we need to do is check for wind. See if it's going to change or not. And we get a 9. No, it does not. Okay. Next thing is command determination. So for the British, his range is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're all in command now. So this will be, they can all go as one command. So that's excellent for them. Okay, and then we have the French 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. He is not in command. 1, 2, 3. He is in command. Okay, so the command split is right here with these guys. I got to take my fired markers off. I forgot to do that on my cleanup step last time, so let's get this cleaned up real quick. Down here. We had a lot going on this last turn. Okay, so everybody's in command. So our next step now is initiative. The French get +1 and the British get +2 on their die rolls. See who's got initiative. It's 4 for the French, 3 for the British, which is going to make them 5 and 5. And the British have the higher audacity, so they get the initiative. And that's a big deal for the British, because he actually gets to, he can fire, and he's got a stern rake on this guy. So yeah, this is a big deal. But he's only got half his broadside that can hit, I believe, because if you look at this, I'll zoom in here a little bit so you can see what I'm looking at. The stern part, you know, when they go out like this and they go out like this, but this part of him, he can't reach that ship, so he's not going to get a full broadside on him. So it's going to change him, but I don't think that'll matter for him, for the Caesar, because he can actually get a shot there at this guy, and then or he can make that his defensive fire over there, which may be the best thing to do. So I think, yeah, I think the Caesar's going to fire to port. We'll mark his, back this back up. We'll mark him fired to port right here. And he's going to fire at the Mont Blanc. And he's at range 2. And the Caesar is a yellow 4. Well, yellow because he's dropped a level. So he is now a, what was he before? I need to check. Okay, so we'll, it was a red. So he's a red 4. At range 2 is 8. +3 is 11. So he has 11 firepower. He's firing into the hull, at the hull, and into the wind. So That's +2 on his die roll. So he's firepower 11, +2 on his die roll, and he gets a 2, which is 4 on 11 is 2 hull and a rigging. 2 hull and a rigging on the Mont Blanc. So that's the first hit on the rigging for the Mont Blanc. We'll take 1 rigging hit. And what did I say? 2 hull? Yeah, 2 hull and a rigging. So he goes from 7 to 9 now on his rigging hit. So they take the 7 off. And we'll put the 9 on. He's still a -1 on his level. That's where the Caesar fired. Okay. And he doesn't move. And we have the Courageous, and he's a -2 on his move. He gets 5, so he can move 3, 1, 2. And again, it's all kind of a bit messy here. He can move up 1. And gives him a fire onto this guy, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to fire to port, and so the Mont Blanc actually, you know what? Let's move him back up. 1, 1, 2. Put him back here, because the Mont Blanc would have fired his defensive fire against this guy. And I'm going to go ahead and do that because it doesn't change his fire level, but it might have changed his. So we're gonna do this and see what happens. The Mont Blanc, he's at range 2. He's firing defensively with his starboard, and he's at range 2. He's a white 3, -1 makes him a white 4. A white 4 at range 2 is a 9, +1 is a 10. He was firing, this is the Caesar, he's firing at the hull. And he's firing into the wind, so it's -1 on his die roll. And he gets, it is a 6. Okay. So he rolls a 6 on firepower of 10, makes that a 5 on firepower 10 at the hull. It's 2 hull and a rigging on the Caesar, which raises him up to a 4 there, and the rigging's already gone. Okay, so it didn't change anything else that happened. Now we have the Courageous coming. Now he can move 2, and I just realized what he needs to do here is he can go from reaching to running, cost him 2, or he can go, he can't go beating because he doesn't have enough. He's got a movement of 3. Yep, I didn't move him back far enough. 1, 2, 3 would have put him there. 2, 3, which might give him a shot at his stern rake onto the Mont Blanc. The other one is to pull all the way up here and get that straight on shot right there onto him. And see what he can do with it. Yeah, I don't know what to do with him. He's this is tough. Let's see, what do we do here? We can We can run him straight up here. He can get a partial broadside, which is going to make him a white 4 at range 1, which is probably still going to be pretty powerful. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to run him up here. 1, 2, 3. He's -2, so that's all he can go. He's going to fire to the port with the Courageous. And he only gets a partial broadside. So he's firing at range 1. A white 4, white 3 becomes a white 4 at range 1. That's 13 plus 3 is 16. And he gets +2 to his die roll. Okay, here we go. +2 because he's firing with wind and at the hull. He rolls a 6. That gives him an 8. An 8 on a 16. So we take 8, come across here to 16. 5 hull and a possible fire. So the Courageous just went from 9 to 14 on his hits. So he just took a pounding there. And we have to roll to see if he catches on fire. A 5 or less, and he'll be on fire. 0. He's on fire. Okay, so now the Courageous is on fire. Or I mean the Mont Blanc is on fire. Alright, so that was pretty deadly. Now I have the hero. He is going to do this. He's going to move 1. He's going to wear into running. That's 2, so that's 3. That's it for him. He can fire 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got his full broadside. They can't fire at him. I think the hero is going to fire at the Mont Blanc. 1, 2, 3, 4. He is a red 3. This is a starboard shot for him, for the hero. He's a red 3 at range 4. His table 6. Firepower 6 plus 3 is 9 because of his audacity. 9. He is running, so he does not get any wind, but he is firing at the hull. So he's +1 to his die roll. Firepower 9. Firepower 9 +1. He gets a 7. That's an 8. This is at the Mont Blanc, an 8. On firepower 9. It's 3 more hull hits. Sorry. 3 hull. So he goes, Mont Blanc can only, he was reduced here because he could only take 13 before. So he was reduced, and this 14 should have been 13, and he has 1 over here, and now he just adds 3, so he's at 4. So he has 4 hull hits. Now on his damage side. So the British, having that initiative really cleaned up on the Mont Blanc, is in trouble now. So, okay. What I'm going to try to do down here is avoid having to tack in the wind here, being so close. He could fire a partial right here because this ship's in his way, and I think that's what we'll do with the Formidable. He's going to fire a starboard broadside. He is a -2, so he's a black 1. -2 is a black 3, and he's firing a partial, makes him a black 4. And the range is 2, 3. The range is 3. A black 4, that's a table of firepower of 6. And he is, which makes him a 7 because of their audacity, so firepower 7. He's firing at the hull, of course, on the Formidable, a 7, and at the Caesar. Let's see. So firepower 7, and he is firing. What is he? He's beating, so he's firing into the wind. The wind's blowing this way. That's into the wind, beating. Okay. So he's -1. Firepower 7, -1. 3 makes that a 2. So a 2 on 7 at the hull is 1 hull hit. So the Caesar is going to go up to 5 now. There. So he's got 5 on him. And now the Formidable is going to move. He can move 2. He's moving 1. He's going to move 1, 2, and wear. So he goes from beating. It doesn't cost him anything to go from beating to reaching. I'm going to swing around so I don't have to tack into the wind. That's the whole idea of this. Okay. Now the Duguay Truin, he's also going to move, and before he moves, Caesar is going to take his defensive fire, and he is going to see if he can rake this guy right here. He is a 4. What did I say was a red 4, right? Yep. He is a red 4. Which makes him a red 5 because he's only got the 1 partial there. But he's at range 1. That makes him a 9. Add 3 makes 12 for audacity. So he's a firepower of 12. He's going to try to rake. So he gets -3, -2, -5, and he's got a commander. -7. He's a 4 or less. 6. So he's going to rake him. Okay. So he's firepower 12. And he is reaching, but he's firing into the wind. Nope. Yes, because the wind's coming this way, and he's firing that starboard, so it's into the wind, so it's -1, and he gets +1, so no modifier. So it's firepower 12 at the hull, and he gets a 4. So a 4 on 12 against the hull is 3 hull hits. Okay, 3 hulls on the Formidable. So 1 puts him at 15. Which now reduces him. And he's got 2 more hits here. Right there. All right. Now the Formidable is going to do the same thing here. He has 2 movement points, but he's going to wear, and he's going to fire his port broadside. On the Ortugal. And I just did the wrong thing. I marked the wrong ship. So put him back right here. Well, I'll tell you what though. Okay, put him back on his 14 right there. He fired and he wears. It was the 2K that took the 3 hull hits. So 1 on him. The same thing's going to happen here. I just got out of sequence here a little bit. Sorry about that. Let me get my let me get a marker for this guy. Yep. So the Ortugal true in takes 1 hit, puts him at 13, which is the max there. And he takes 2 hulls here. We do flip him over. He is on his damage side now. Okay, so he weared, no movement yet. He has full sails. So he still has 2. 1, 2. Okay. So the French fleet is starting to take a pounding here. Now we have the Mont Blanc. So he has fired his starboard, doesn't have anything here, and he can move his full amount, which is 5. That's what he's going to do. 1, 2, 3, and to wear to running takes 2, which he is going to go ahead and do. He's going to wear to running right here. And actually, 1, 2, he can fire his port at the Courageous. And using the same logic I was using before, firing back at this angle, he cannot reach the Courageous with his full broadside, but he can with the partial. He actually can attempt to rake him, but it's a pretty long shot, but we should give it to him. So we'll check his rake, see if he can even do that. His audacity's -1, and the range to target is 4, so it's a +3. He rolled a 7, so he won't rake him. Okay, so he's going to be, he's firing at the Courageous at his rigging. He is at 1, 2, 3, range is 4. This is the Mont Blanc. He is a white 5. At range 4 is a firepower of 3. +1 is 4. He is firing, let's see, he's running, so no wind. And +1 because of rigging. So we'll roll +1. Oh, a 9. It's at a 10 on firepower 4. Two rigging onto the Courageous. So he had 6, he now goes to 8. So I got an 8 out here. I don't. All right. So the Courageous is now at 8. Okay. Wow, we got a lot going on there. Now for the final, he can't shoot, he's trying to get away. This is the Scipion. He's in dire need here of moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's trying to get away from these guys. Get where they're not going to be firing at him all the time. All right. Well, everybody's fired, everybody's moved, and so we now check ship fires. So we have 2 of them. We'll start with the Caesar. So for the Caesar, he's going to roll. Let's see what happens to him. He rolls a 8. 1 hull hit. and we have to see if he explodes. We roll a 3, he does not. Okay, so the Caesar now goes up to 6 on his hull hits, which lowered him another level. Okay, and we now have the Mont Blanc. He's rolling for his fire, and he takes a 1, and luckily for him, the Mont Blanc gets a 1, fire extinguished, no other damage. So his fire's out. So where the Caesar can't get rid of his, the Mont Blanc put his out right away. All right, we have drifting. So the Caesar drifts 1 more right here. Leaves him in a vulnerable position for sure. All right, and then we have striking. So we have 2 ships. We have to see if they're going to strike. We'll start with the Caesar, and he has an audacity rating of -3. He has hull hits left on him. He's not vulnerable yet because he still has 7 hull hits left. Yeah, I jumped the gun on him. But for the Scipion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he's still within 5. Let's see if he strikes. This is for a 6 to 9. He has a -1 for the fleet audacity rating. -1. He rolled a 7, makes it a 6. A 6 to 9, he strikes his colors. All right. He goes from vulnerable to striking his colors. I'll have to find that marker because that's the first time I've had that. Oh, there it is, struck. Okay. So that's it. He struck his colors. And he's out of the battle. Okay. We go to turn number 8. And the first thing we're going to do is check for the wind. A 3. Oh, I think I got to check to see if he sinks. Also, 3.7.11. Because he's got all his hull hits are gone. So let me check that real quick too before we go any farther. Hull damage, striking, sinking. Add 1 to the die roll if the rate is rounded by a black dot. He's not. Deduct 1 or 2, white or yellow. He's white, so we deduct 1 from the die roll. Okay. Sinks mine equal to or less than its original rate. His original rate was, oops, a 3. So we roll 6. He does not sink. Okay. Takes care of that. Now we'll roll for this wind. See if it changes. Does not change. Okay. So no change to the wind. We do command determination. The British are all in command. He is 1, 2, 3, 4. These guys are all in command. Okay. So we're going to roll. And we get a 5 and a 0. So the British have the initiative. So they'll go first. First thing we'll do is we can fire starboard with the Caesar. So the Duque Turin is going to fire. I got to take my markers off again. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay. The Turin will fire to port on defensive fire. Back here at the Caesar, he's at range. I want him to fire, or do I want the Mont Blanc to fire? One of them can fire. Nope. I think the Duque is going to fire. 1, 2, 3. You can only get him with a partial. 1, 2, 3. So it's range 3. And he is a white 5. White 5, range 3 is a 6. Makes him firepower 7. He is reaching. He's firing this way. Gotta think about that. So the wind's coming this direction. He's reaching. Wind is blowing this way. And if he's reaching, he gets the wind, so it's plus 1 for that. So he's at firepower 7 and plus 1 to his die roll. Oh, a 9. Makes that a 10. A 10 on firepower 7. 3 hull hits. Wow, he hit the Caesar hard there. So he goes up to 9 on his hull hits. He's almost, now he's getting close to striking. 1 more hull hit. Okay, that was his port. He's firing his starboard now. The Caesar is. Range 1, 2, 3 at the Duque Turin. And it will be, he was a red 2, makes him a red 4. He's minus another one, red 5. 1, 2, 3, range 3. His firepower 5. Audacity makes him an 8. He's plus 1. And he's minus 1. Because he's reaching. Minus 1. So he's even. And he is firepower 8. He gets a 6. Okay, decent roll. A 6 at the hull. On firepower 8 is 2 hull hits. So he hits 2 on the Duque Turin. So he goes up to 4 there. Alright, these ships are all getting battered now. Alright, next up is the Courageous. He can do what? He's in a tough spot here. He can slip. That costs him 2, and 1 more is 3. The Mont Blanc could fire at him now. Actually, it's a rake. He's going to take that shot. The Mont Blanc is going to fire his port. Defensive fire. Range is 1, 2, 3. Let's see if he can rake. He is a Audacity's -1, and range to target is 3, so it's a +2 to the die roll. He gets a 0. He does. He scores the rake. Okay, so he's going to rake. He's firing at the rigging of the Courageous. Range is 3. He is a white 5 on the Mont Blanc. White 5, range 3 is a 6, +1 is 7. He gets no win, but he gets +1. Firing at the rigging. He gets a 2, that's a 3. On range 7. Actually, he should have fired at the hull to gain the rake, so we'll give him the hull instead. Okay, I just saw that. So he gets a... So its die roll stays a 2 because he's firing at the hull. And 7 is 1 hull hit. Increase hull damage by 50%. Well, he doesn't get one because he only got 1 hull hit. So 1 hull hit on the Courageous. That moves him up to 2. Okay. And the Courageous won't fire. That leaves me the Hero. He's just too far away. He needs to wear. He is -2. He's running, that's 2, and it costs him 2, so he's going to wear, and that's the only thing he can do. Okay, that's it for the British. The 3 French ships here. He is going to... He can go 4, and if he swings to running to reaching costs him 2. So he's going to go 2, 3, 4, and the Mont Blanc already fired port, so he has no shot. We have the Formidable, who is reaching, who is 5, so he's going to go to running, costs him 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Range is 6 on a port. Broadside for the Formidable at the Caesar. Range is 6. Range is 6. Oh, he is a black 1. -2 makes him a black 3. Range is 6. That's a 4. So gives him firepower of 5. He's firing at the hull. He gets no modifiers and he has no wind advantage. He rolls an 8. Wow. So the Formidable, an 8. What did I say that was? 1, 2, 5, 6 on a black 3. Yeah, 4 makes it 5. So he has an 8, firepower 5, 2 hull hits. Ooh. Well, he bounced a couple in there. Raises him up to 11. Okay, Caesar takes a couple more. He's only a couple away from being, now he is vulnerable. Okay. And now we have the Duque Truin. He can move 5. He's going to move. They're trying to get a little distance on these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's shielding his commander. Doesn't want him to take a pounding. Okay. All right, here we go. It's all the moves. We'll do ship fires. It's on the Caesar. He rolls a 1. Hey, a 1 means he finally extinguished the fire. Okay. So no more fire damage hits right now. All right. And he can't drift because he's beside another ship. So that means he stays where he's at. And sinking, we can roll to see if he sinks. He rolled a 2. And so he sinks. I do believe that he sinks. I'm going to check that real quick here, but 3.7 sinking. He takes -1 to his die roll. Add 1 die roll if it's black. Deduct 1 or 2 from the ship if he's white or yellow. He's white. 2 makes that 1. Yeah, he sinks. So not only that, now he is, they call it a wash. So he struck his colors and now he's a wash. So he was going down when they struck their colors. We'll see, that may make a difference on the victory points. Okay. The Caesar has to roll to see if he strikes his colors. Now, for him, he is 3 or less hull hits remaining. He has 3 left. He has 2 left. So he is -2, fleet rating -5, -7. It's highly unlikely he'll strike. 2. Yeah. 3 or less, no effect. Okay, so no effect. So he is not going to strike his colors. He says no way. All right. That takes us to turn number 9. And now we check for wind. And the wind does not change. Now we're going to check for initiative. 0 for the French, 8 for the British. So the British have the initiative. 2, 3, 4. They're all in command. 1, 2, 3. He is not in command, so he's separate over here. The command split is right here. Okay, we get our starboard markers off of there. Or I mean our broadside markers off. All right. And the British are ready to go. So the Courageous right here is coming up on the Mont Blanc, who is been getting hammered. And the Courageous has a movement of 3 that he can use. So he's going to move 1, 2. He's got 1 movement left, and the Mont Blanc is going to take his defensive fire and fire to port right there at range 1. So he has him at range 1 on the Mont Blanc. He is a white 5. At range 1 is 9, so table 10. He's firing at the rigging of the Courageous. So he gets a +1. And he's firing into the wind, which gives him another +1, because into the wind is what they want for firing at the rigging. Yes, so +2 to his die roll. Firepower is 10. He rolls a 0. So he gets a 2 on 10 into the 2 rigging, possible fire. Okay, So the courageous rigging goes up to 10 hits now, which lowers the speed on the next turn. And it takes a 1 or less than 2 for fire. Oh, he caught him on fire. Wow. Okay, so the courageous is on fire. All right. The courageous is going to finish his move, which is right here. He's going to fire his full broadside. And it is at range 1. He is a white 3. At range 1 is 15. Plus 3 is 18. He's firing at the hull. And he's reaching. He gets plus 2 to his die roll. On firepower 18. That's a 4. So 4 onto 18 is 4 hull and a rigging on the Mont Blanc. So the Mont Blanc's rigging goes up by 2 and 4 goes to 8. That's going to lower his rating again. Oh, he just took a pounding on that deal. And that leaves me with the hero who's moving. He's minus 3, he can move 2. 1, 2. And the Caesar can now fire his left port. He's firing his port broadside because the courageous got out of the way at range 1, 2, 3. He's at range 3. He is a red 4, minus 1, red 5. At range 3 is firepower 5 plus audacity makes him an 8. So he's a firepower of 8 and he gets plus 2 to his die roll. Firepower 8 plus 2 because he's firing at the hull with the wind. 5 makes 7 on firepower 8. 7 on 8 is 2 hull and a rigging. Okay, so his rigging goes up to 3 hits now. Reduces his speed. And 2 hull hits makes him a 10. So he's in trouble now. He is vulnerable on the Mont Blanc. Okay. Wow. There is a lot going on here, for sure. All right, what we got? French. I'm gonna move the True Ends card is almost in the way. We'll see, we'll slide it over a little bit. The Mont Blanc is minus 1 on his speed, and he right now is reaching. So he's got a speed of 4. He's going to go into beating, which costs him 4. He could swing it right there, which will keep him from running up on him. We're letting him go first. We'll take the split off of there. He's going to do that and see if he can force him out of his way. And he keeps a good shot on the courageous there if he gets that. Hoping for a little audacity, right? All right. Now we have the Duguay Truin. It is not fired yet. And the courageous has a, forgot to mark his broadside because I know he fired the port. The hero doesn't fire. Okay. The Duguay Truin could fire defensively here, or I mean fire. 1, 2, 3. That's as close as he's going to be. He's going to do that. This is a port broadside at range 1, 2, 3 on the courageous. So range 3, he's a white 5. Is that right? Yeah. Yep. Hope I didn't screw this up. White 5 on the, so he's still white 5 at range 3 is a firepower 6 plus 1 is 7. He's firing at the rigging plus 1, and he's reaching, so he's got the wind, so he's plus 2 on his die roll on a firepower 7 at the rigging. 8, whew, makes that a 10. It's going to be a big hit on his rigging on the courageous. 10, firepower 7, 3 rigging, and he's already on fire. Okay, so he goes to 13. He's almost got him dismasted now. And he's down to 4 movement points left. So the courageous is getting slammed now. Okay, and the courageous did not, oh, he could have fired, he's going to fire. He can fire defensive fire. Range is 1, 2, 3. This half doesn't get there. So he was a white 3. Makes him a white 4 at range 3 is 8. Makes him an 11. We may have to adjust here. I'll keep this out where I can see it. Okay. He's an 11. He's firing at the hull. He's firing into the wind. So he is -1 and 0. So no modifier. Firepower 11. Oh, a 9 on the Duque Truan's hull. A 9 on firepower 11 is 3 hull and a rigging. Yes, it is going to make an effect. So he takes his second rigging hit, and his hull goes to 7. Okay, and that changes what happened up here. Where he fired, he would have been at range 3, but he was a 5, which would be now be a 6, so that would have been firepower 4 plus 1's 5, and he rolled a 10 on 5 at the rigging is 2 rigging. Before it was 3, so that's going to drop him down to 12. He's still got the same effect, he just has 1 less rigging hit. Okay. Alright. And he's moving, he's running, so he has 4. Let's see, running to get to reaching costs him 2. He's going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 back sail, 2 back sail. That's where he's going to stay. It does, he can fire this way at this ship here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His range is 6. The Formidable is firing a port broadside right there at the Caesar. Range is 6. He is a black 3. Range 6 is table 4 plus 1 makes it a 5. And firing at the hull and no wind. Actually, he's reaching, no, he's running, no wind. A 2 on table 4 at the hull is no damage. Okay, so no effect. All right, That's the end of that. So now we do ship fires. I have one on the Courageous, so he's got a roll. He gets a 0, fires out. So he's able to put the fire out. All right, next thing, drifting. So the Courageous drifts again to there. And now we do striking. So the Courageous is, he has 2 hull hits left, -2, -3 for the fleet, -5, and he's got a commander, so -7, a 3, he does not strike. Now we have the Mont Blanc, who has 2 hull hits left, -2 and -1, so he is a -3. He rolls 3. No effect. He does not strike. All right, we're going into the final turn. This is it. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Here we go. We have, check the wind. No change. Command, 1, 2, 3, oops. 1, 2, he's on his own out there again. It's where he's kind of lived on his own. All right, here we go. We have going for command determination. French have 5, the British have 5. With the command difference, the British have the initiative. So here we go. All right. First thing we're going to do, the Caesar's going to fire his port broadside. Take my broadside markers off again. Caesar's going to fire. He is not going to fire back at the Caesar because he wants a defensive shot at the Courageous. If he can survive the Caesar, that's the risk we're going to take here for this guy. The other choice is you go ahead and take your defensive fire, and you could stop the Caesar. So I think that's what he's got to do. It's his only chance here. The Mont Blanc is taking a port broadside, defensive fire. He's going to be reduced 1. He's a white 5, which makes him white 6, which makes him a 7. So what happens when they're at a 7 on their fire table? Gotta find that. First time I've gotten this far down with ships getting beat up this much. Maybe he doesn't have enough firepower to fire. Let's see. Hang on while I look this up. Alright, I'm just going to say that it reduces him to from a 6 down to the gunboats would be a white at range 2, firepower 3, makes him a 4. He's firing at the hull, he's firing into the wind, so it's -1 to his die roll. Oh, a 1 makes that a 0. I think that's too good for the Mont Blanc. A 0, yeah, nothing, no effect. Okay, so now the Caesar's firing, same way, he's a minus. He's going to be at, he's a, oops, wrong card. He's going to be a red 4, -1 red 5, partial broadside red 6, at range 2. He's firepower 4, plus 3 is 7. He's firing with the wind and at the hull, plus 2 to his die roll. Firepower 7, and he got a 0. So a 2, 7, 1 hull hit. Gee whiz. He didn't get enough to stop him. Puts him at 11. Okay. Oops. All right. The what do you do? What do you do, right? He's going to fire his port broadside. This is the Courageous. At the Mont Blanc, he is range 2, and he is a white 3. On range 2 is 11, and 3 is 14. He gets plus 2 to his modifier, and he rolled a 4, so that's 6. 6 on 14. 6, 14, 3 hull and a rigging. So his rigging goes to 4, and 3 hull. That's going to stop him now. They're going to have to check him for sinking and all that good stuff. In fact, no, we checked that at the end. Okay, so we got him knocked down. He can't fire anymore. He can move on his own, but he can't fire. Okay, now the Courageous is moving. He is going to wear, costs him 2. What's his speed? -4 on 5. He's only got 1. Whew, he can't do anything. He can't wear because he doesn't have enough sail left. So he's almost become dead in the water. Wow. Okay. Well, that's pretty bad. Going from reaching to running cost him 0. No, it doesn't. That's running to reaching. Reaching to running costs him 2 movement points. No, it doesn't. Looking at the wrong thing. Costs him 1. Costs him 1. So he can move. Well, he's going to wear. He is going to fire at the Formidable, and he's going to give him defensive fire. He can come from one of these 2 ships, so he's going to come out of the Formidable. He's going to fire his port broadside at the Courageous, and he's partially blocked, so he's going to lose 1 because his ship's in his way. He's going to have the same problem when he fires at him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Range is 4. He is a black 3, partially blocked. Makes him a black 4. Range 1, 2, 3, 4. Makes him a 5. Plus 1 is 6. Firing at the rigging with the wind, so he gets plus 2. 7. That's a 9. Nine on 6. At his rigging is 3 rigging. So he just dismasted the Courageous. How about that? He's dismasted. All right. The Courageous is firing his starboard, which now means he's fired both broadsides. He's firing at range 4. He is a white 3 that's going to be partially blocked at range 4. That's a firepower 5, makes him an 8. He's firing no wind at the hull, +1. 8 and a +1. He rolled a 4, makes that a 5. A 5 on firepower 8. A 5 on 8 is a hull and a rigging. So that hull puts him at 15. He can't take any more damage to his hull. His rigging goes up to 3. Okay, which reduces him by 1 now. Alright, and that leaves me the hero. The hero has a speed of 3 because he's reaching. He is going to go 1, 2, and where to running. He's going to try to rake him. He is -3, and it's 2, so it's a -1. On a 1, he does raking. Okay, he's getting a partial shot at him. Range 2, he's a red 3. Oops. He's going to be a red 3, which make him a red 4 at range 2. His firepower 8. +3 is 11. He's firing at his, this is the Mont Blanc, he's firing at his rigging. So he is a red 4, range 2, 8, 11. And he's firing no wind or anything else, so no modifier. 11 with 3. A 3 on 11 is 3 rigging. So he goes from 4 to 7. So he now takes 7 rigging hits. Drops his speed quite a bit too. Okay. These guys are just getting battered now. He'll move. We'll move him first, get him out of the way. He's going to, let's see, he is beating. And if he wants to go to reaching, it costs him 0, 1, 0 is all he can do. Right. So that's it. The K is going to go from he's running into reaching is 0. So he's 0, 1, 2, 3, and reaching to beating costs him 2, 3, and he stops, he back sails there. He gets a shot at the courageous, straight down that's possible rake. And this is yep, he's firing his port. His port broadside. He is a -1. It's not a stern rake. And he's 1, 2, 3, so it's going to be a +2. He gets a 9. He's not raking. Okay, so he is a white 5. -1 makes him a white 6 at range 3. Is a firepower 4, so that makes him firepower 5. He's firing at the hull. He's firing into the wind, -1. That's a 0. That's no damage, okay? So that didn't do anything. Now we have the Formidable who already fired. He's going 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it for him. Okay, so last thing we got to do is check there's no fires on anybody. We got to see if he would drift one more time right there. And then we're going to check for striking. So we'll start with Caesar, who I do not believe is going to strike, but we'll see. A 5, no. And we have the Mont Blanc, who has no hull hits left. So he gets a -1 to his die roll. It's a 9, makes it an 8. He strikes his colors. So he struck. All right. And we'll check him to see if he sinks. He was originally a white 3, so we subtract 1 from the die roll. It's a 6. No, he does not. Okay. All right, that's the end. So, what do we do for victory points? I don't know if it tells me. British, French, special rules. Folder. Let's check this out real quick. Victory points. 2.2.2 and all that. So way up here in the front. See, relative rates, dual map, plain pieces, fleet map. Did I read that wrong? 2.2.2.4, 2.2.2.4. On the reverse of a commander unit is an indication of how many victory points he's worth if captured or killed. That didn't do me good. 2.2.1.4. This value indicates the worth of the vessel in terms of victory after a battle, as well as when creating custom battles. So that's on the ship, okay. And so let's see. See if I can find where victory determination. Here we go. Game ends, turns is completed, points are tallied for ships captured, sunk, and damaged, or as soon as one of the opposing fleets breaks. Captured enemy ships 2 times, sunk enemy ships, victory point, damaged or dismasted, half, killed commander. Undamaged ships sailing off the edge of the map are considered damage score victory points. For completion of calculate victory points normally. Okay, so the French dismasted the Courageous and the Caesar. So you get half victory points. He was 6 and he was 7, which is 3.5. So that's 9.5. damaged or dismasted. So I would say a struck ship is the same as probably a captured. If that's the case, you get 12 and whatever he was worth. 6, 12. Yeah, that's a big win for the British because they sunk. They struck 2, they sunk 1, that's his victory point, so 6. Even if it stays 6, that's 12. And then damaged, he's half. Retained fractions, yeah. So I would say the British pulled this one out. Luckily for them, the Caesar did not ever strike his colors. And he kept them in the game with his broadsides, even though they were taking a brutal pounding. The Courageous got in there and really inflicted some hits before losing his sails. So you can see the difference between the two strategies, where the French like the rigging, the British like the hull. The French get you where you can't move, then they want to come around and nail you, but they never had the wind gauge to do it. And the British pound you so that you lose your firepower. So I don't know which strategy I like best. They're both pretty good strategies. So okay, I think that's it. That completes this playthrough of Flying Colors. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. It's a very interesting game. You can see, if you can put it in your mind to play one side and play the other and try to get the advantage with each of them, you can actually play this solitaire, and it works very well. So I hope you enjoyed the playthroughs. Hope if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you like the video, give me that thumbs up. Everything helps. We'll see you guys for the next one. Have a good one.